Hello, everyone. So welcome to today's meeting. I hope kila mtu ananisikia wenye tumejoin. Poleni for the delay. What happened is some errors as we tried to record. But for people who are not join us right now, so tulikuwa tuna try ku record for them for YouTube. So please, kama unaweza nisikia, unaweza raise your hand up ndio nisisikie tuko sawa, ama unaweza weka tu emoji, tap something nisikie mnanisikia sawa. Margaret, unanisikia? Anyone else? Hapa niko peke yangu leo. Ni sisi Margaret. Oh, Anne, thank you. Okay, awesome, mnanisikia. So welcome to today's class. Today we are going to talk about plant nutrients and deficiency. And Margaret, unainua mkono bado ama? No, okay, thank you. So Dina, unainua mkono kuuliza swali ama kusema nini? Ama kutuombea tuanze class? Okay, so we begin. So but I begin by thank you tunaanza. So I begin by asking questions, and the question is what plant nutrient do you know as a person or as a farmer? What kind of nutrients do you know as a farmer? You can write in the message tuone kama the kind of nutrients as a farmer you know. As a farmer ni nutrients gani unajua kwa shamba yako they need to be in the farm? And calcium. Anyone else who know nutrients which you can start with? Unaona tu calcium. Anyone else with another? Potassium, yes, Dina, potassium. Kuna zinc also from one, nitrogen from one. Margaret, unajua anything? Any nutrients you need? Boron, yes. Any other nutrients? Anyone else who know another nutrient you need in the form? Okay. Magnesium. Ani wewe umesoma agriculture hapa. Nitrogen, boron, magnesium. Okay. So as we begin, plants have different nutrients, and they still have. So I was saying plants have different nutrients, and today we are going to talk about the nutrients and even how to identify the nutrients in your plants in different crops. I know majority of people here grow apples and other fruits, so we are going to discuss the different plants people grow. Okay. So the introduction is simple. We're going to talk about plant nutrients, and plant nutrient basically it's what these are the essential elements that plant need for the growth and development and reproduction. So these are the essential nutrients needed in a plant. Okay, so this is what we call plant nutrients, the essential that is required in the growth, development, and reproduction of any plant. Then we also have something called deficiency, nutrient deficiency. Okay, this occurs when a plant lacks some nutrients needed for the growth of the plant and also the development of the plant. It leads to different symptoms like yellowing, standard growth, and also abnormal coloration. Okay, so we're going to see different nutrients in plants. Example, we are going to see the macronutrients, and also we're going to see the micronutrients. So we have different elements. Like example, when we start with the macro ones, macronutrient means they are required by the plants in large amounts. So macronutrients are required in big amount in the plants. Then we have the primary ones. So in macro we have two. We have the primary one, and also we have the secondary one. Okay. The primary one are the most obvious one. Now it's the most with the majority of fertilizers we have in Kenya, all in the world. Okay, because we have the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Today we're going to discuss each nutrient and how you can see the deficiency and why it is required in the plant. So you're going to understand the importance of each nutrient in the plants. We have the secondary, which is the calcium. We also have magnesium, and also we have sulfur. So the macronutrients, we have the primary one and the secondary one. The primary one are the one which many fertilizers call NPK. The secondary one, you can call them calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Okay. So these are different crops which nutrients which are needed in different plants. So we go to the macro now, macronutrients. They are required in little amount ama kidogo kidogo, hazihitajiki kama ziko mingi, they just required in small portions. So the macronutrients are like iron, that is number one. We also need zinc, we have manganese, we have copper, we have boron, we have I don't know how to pronounce this name, but you guys, you can very well. And also we have chlorine. Okay, so those are the macronutrients. They are just required in small amount, but they are very essential to different crops. Okay. From that, now we're going to see the role of each micronutrients, the macro and also the micronutrients. We're going to see the role of each nutrients in the plant. So now we begin with number one, nitrogen. And before we go here, let me just ask a simple question. Anyone who knows the role of the macronutrients? Anyone? Just raise your hand. I just give you 1 minute. Macronutrients are the big ones. They are the one required in large amounts. Example, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, potassium, also calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Anyone who knows a role of one? Anyone? You can raise your hand and speak kindly if you know. If you don't know, just react in a way, maybe with a thumbs up, ama with a clap, ama with a laughter, anything. Just react so that I can know we are together. If you are not, okay. But Dina, you have raised your hand. Please unmute and also say.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Potassium helps in fruit formation.
It helps in?
It helps in fruit formation.
Okay, potassium.
Mhm.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you. Another person? Yes, and can you raise your hand? Kindly you can unmute. Ama uko inua mkono. Ulikuwa na real ukisema tuendelee. Okay. So we just continue. So we are in the role of each nutrients. So we start with the macronutrients. So the first one is nitrogen. Okay. Many people know what nitrogen is and why it is needed in your soil or in your plants. So nitrogens biggest purpose is just to promote leaf growth and chlorophyll production. So if you want your leaves to grow very well, to be healthy, and also you want chlorophyll production to be high, you need nitrogen. So that is the major um, purpose of nitrogen. That's why you hear people recommending that you need to plant leafy legumes. Like an example of leafy legumes, beans. You can ask all varieties of beans. There's the yellow beans, the kinanyota, and the different several varieties of beans. So you need that, they help you to fix the nitrogen in the soil. Number two, we also have phosphorus. Okay, phosphorus is very good in for root development and also flower production. So essential for any root development in your plants, you need phosphorus. Okay, and I'm going to ask questions. So I hope you will note all these and how you can tell the essential of this, because you just need to know what each nutrients gives to the plant. Also, we have potassium, which enhances disease resistant and fruit quality. Yeah, potassium helping disease resistant and also fruit quality. And also potassium is also good for sweetening your fruits. It's also a very good source for make your fruits more sweeter. Okay, those are the major, the primary one. Now we have the secondary one, which is the calcium. Um, Calcium strengthens the cell's walls, all prevent blossom end rot, and also prevent the root from cracking. So if you see a fruit tree which is it has cracked, okay, the it means the skin is not even strong enough to hold more moisture in the fruit inside. So what that plant is, or what that fruit is lacking is something we call calcium. So it just helps to strengthen the wall of the fruit mostly, and also it prevent, you see things that happen like blossom end rot in potatoes. It also happen in many fruits, even in avocado and also apples and other different fruits. Okay, so calcium works in that way. What about magnesium? Magnesium also helps to, it is a central component of chlorophyll and inasaidia sana in the aid of photosynthesis. So magnesium is very good for photosynthesis and chlorophyll. Okay. Then we have to finalize the micronutrients. Now we have sulfur. It is very good in, it helps just the enzymes activation in the more so in the leaves and also in the soil. So it helps breaking down the enzymes of the nutrients you have in the plant to be used for the plant. Okay. Um, so we go to the micronutrients. Micronutrients are many. Okay. So we start with iron. It is very good for chlorophyll. We also have zinc. These are very good for, now zinc is one of the major ones that helps in fruit formation and also to prevent abortion in your fruits. So zinc, it helps it is a growth hormone and enzyme function. It just helps in growth. Like if you have ready buds which want to start shooting, zinc is very good to help that bud to shoot and become either flower or a branch. So we also have manganese. Manganese supports photosynthesis and also respiration. So that is manganese. We also have copper. Copper is essential for enzyme function and lignin synthesis. So copper is one of the best one which helps in just also help in prevention of most of diseases. So it's very good. Okay. We also have boron. Boron helps in cell division and fruit development. So that's why you always hear when during fruit formation, you always hear you want like boron, zinc, calcium, and iron. Those are one of the key things you always hear people telling you want. Okay, during flowering. Okay, so that you don't get a lot of abortion in your fruit trees. So boron is very good in that food formation and also in cell division. We also have another one called Mwambia. This name is very hard for me. I'm a Kamba, so I don't know how to pronounce it, but you can pronounce it yourself. It is also required for nitrogen fixation in legumes, so it helps to
Please,
fix
please,
nitrogen.
please spell the name.
Ah,
Please spell the name.
I spelled the name Molybdenum. You want to spell it for me? To pronounce it? Can you pronounce it so that I can also learn how to pronounce it?
Sorry, I lost you.
L Y
Moly
B D E N U M.
Enum.
Yeah. Can you
Molybdenum.
pronounce it, please? Eh?
Molybdenum.
Mo?
Molybdenum. I think the
Molybdenum.
name. Yeah.
Molybdenum. Okay. Molybdenum. Okay. Thank you. At least sasa I can say I know how to pronounce it. Molybdenum. Okay. Thank you. Um, so that is another nutrients which is good, a micronutrient which is good for nitrogen fixation in the soil. Okay. Now we have different features here. These are signs of um, some people can think it's a fungal disease, but these are deficiencies in these features. So we have different deficiencies, and it is mostly based according to what nutrients the nutrient type, okay, of the plant. So example, can anyone see any deficiency and tell us which deficiency they think this is? Okay, let me just go straight to teaching you guys. Okay, so we go. So like every plant has the sign of their deficiencies. Okay, so like nitrogen deficiency, you will find like the first picture. Hii picha iko huku juu kabisa. There was the first one. So the symptom are you find the yellow ling, yellow. Sorry guys, I had to laugh at myself. I was saying yellow. Kama nimekuwa wa mlima. So anyway, so there's yellowing of leaves. That is like the first picture you see here. And also you find your plant has some standard growth. So that is the major how you can see or you can identify a nitrogen deficiency. When you see your leaves looking this yellow, the leaves are very yellow in size. This is what you realize that you have a nitrogen deficiency. Okay. Now on phosphorus deficiency, the symptoms of this is that you will have a dark green or purple leaves. Like you see these leaf on your is it on your right is a grape plant, but you can see the leaf has some purple at the edges of the leaf. So that is one way you will tell that is a phosphorus deficiency. And we say phosphorus is very good for root formation. So you realize this sign show you that you have some problem to do with your roots. Okay. Um, the first picture was raspberry. That was the raspberry. Now the other picture here for potassium deficiency, you see in the edges of the leaf, you see yellow and brown. Okay. So in the edge of the leaves, you will see a sign of yellow and brown. So that is a potassium deficiency. Also the stem, you will find that the stem is very weak of the plant. Okay. So those are major all macronutrients. So we go to the next one. So we have that macro. The first one was primary. Now this is the secondary macronutrients. So we have a deficiency in calcium deficiency. Like you can see in this apple, There's some spots, okay, spots in the leaf, on the fruit. That is a sign. Also, calcium deficiency, you can also see this apple, although I've not put a picture of that, but you can, it also cracks. You can find a crack inside this fruit. That was also a sign of a calcium deficiency. Also, you also see deformed. So the leaves also are deformed. You find them, they in a way they are deformed. Okay. When the leaves are deformed, it's also a sign of calcium deficiency. I did not take many pictures so that I can show you guys, but I'll keep on showing with time. Okay. Then we also have they also attract calcium deficiency attracts blossom end rot. When you see a fruit starting to rot at the end and coming back up again, that is also a sign of calcium deficiency. Now we go to another one, which is magnesium deficiency. So magnesium uh, tends to make your, if you see your leaves are curling inside, they are curling inside, that is a sign of magnesium deficiency. Also yellowing between the veins. So the vein of the plant, the leaves start to get yellow. I didn't get a very good picture for the yellowing, where I can show how yellowing of the veins can look like. But when you go online and search magnesium deficiency, you will also see that those different varieties of pictures, because the more you see them, the more you get familiar to them. Okay. We also have sulfur deficiency. The symptom, you see like this one, this is scuma. They spell green young leaves. So in the young leaves, the symptoms is you find there's a color that is pale green. It's not that very green or dark green, but pale green. And then it has a very standard growth. It does not grow as required for it to grow. Okay. Now we come to micronutrients deficiency. Okay. On now the micro, we were from the macro, now we are in the micro. The nutrients which are acquired in little amounts. So we have iron deficiency. It always similar to nitrogen deficiency, but the problem, the only difference you tell between these is when you see yellowing between veins on the young leaves. So you see there is yellow in all other part of the plant, but the veins are still green. Okay, the veins, like the vein of this plant are green, but the color of the leaf is very yellow. Okay, like example, let me show you. You see, it's almost similar to nitrogen deficiency. Okay, but you find this one, the nitrogen, it's very yellow, very yellow. But now when you come to the iron deficiency, it's not that very yellow. Okay, on the leaves of, and it happens on young leaves. So iron happens on young leaves. I think magnesium, nitrogen happens on the older leaves. I'm not sure, but I think it happens on the older leaves. Okay. Now we come to zinc deficiency. Um, most of these, all of these deficiencies show a standard growth to small and also to small leaves. Even small leaves are not growing; they have standard growth. Okay, and it happens mostly in small leaves. Okay. Now we have manganese deficiency. So what I request also for you guys is just do more research, look at this deficiency, go online, type the name of the deficiency, and then it will really help you to understand more about and see similar features of this the deficiency included in here, and you will continue. The more you get watch them, the more you get familiar to them. Okay, because majority we can see them looking very familiar. Okay, but they are different. So we have manganese deficiency. The system is also pale green young leaves. So there's pale green in young leaf like this one, and it also has standard growth. Okay, so we have copper deficiency. Symptom of copper deficiency is yellowing between veins of the young leaves. Okay, also boron deficiency. we have brittle, we have weak stem, and also we have poor fruit set, which mostly causes a lot of abortion in the fruit. You find them, the fruit flowers come to be yellow. Okay. Then molybdenum deficiency, yellowing of the odor leaves, and also leaf curling of the plant. So you find there's the culling of the plant also. So majority of these nutrients are almost the same. They happen at the same time, and they all always look like similar deficiencies. Okay, so we have the micronutrients deficiencies, which another one was chlorine deficiency. The symptom for it is wilting, and also, so when you see a plant start wilting at a small age, that is a sign of chlorine deficiency. And also you'll see the leaf as some blossing. Okay, hiyo hata sijui ni nini lakini ni online. So but it most of what you can tell about chlorine deficiency is that it is wilting. Okay, how do you diagnose deficiencies? Okay, how do you tell I have this deficiency, and how can I correct this deficiency so that I have plants which are very healthy, and I can correct this mistake and have a very healthy plants. Okay, with all the nutrients in back to the soil and to the plant also. So how you diagnose them is, number one, what you do, you observe the leaf. Okay, what the symptom do you see in the leaf, and what the structure do you see in the plant, and what, the leaves will always be different from the other plants. Example, the one which really has some deficiency will be different from the one which does not have deficiency. So you need to really observe. That's why we always recommend daily scouting of your farm or your orchard, and you will tell. Nowadays people are using mechanization like AI. They are using drones to do that. I know we are heading toward there. We'll be using some machines to help us to make our work easier in future. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years or 20 years, I don't know. But I know in future we'll be using this mechanization to help us even do it quickly. Okay, and our machines can learn quickly. I think more they obey instruction. So when you tell them this is the deficiency, you feed them with the deficiency, and you tell them I go searching for this plant, they can tell you how many plants have deficiency and how many does not have that. But that is the future, which is we are working toward. Number two, which is I always tell farmers, you need to have a soil test. Do your soil test. Minimum period you can have a soil test is just 2 years. So when you have a soil test which is less than 2 years, you don't know the kind of nutrients in your plants, whether if you had a soil test 2 years before, you need to check whether whatever you were recommended to do, if you added, you were encouraged to put more potassium in the soil, if you have done that, and if it is enough or good for the plants that you are currently growing. If it's nitrogen, if it's potassium, if it is calcium, if it's choline, if it is iron, if it's boron, zinc, molybdenum, all these kind of nutrients, you need to know if your soil has all of them, and at what quantities does the soil has. Okay, number two, you need to see your water. What is the pH of your water? Because we're also making our soil very acidic because of feeding them with water which is maybe not, it has a very high pH, like salt water. Okay, anyone, if you're using salt water, you need to know how can I keep on putting maybe lime. Okay, and different things which will make my pH to become low. The same to the soil. If the soil is acidic, you need to see how you can lower your acidity level of the soil. But you always recommended when you do a soil test. It will always help you make a right decision. Okay. Um, so as you take them, as you sample anything that you're going to sample, there are a lot of Online there's a lot of deficiency charts, okay, online. So you need to, you can compare the nutrients that you're having and the different deficiency you face in your farm, and you can now tell which deficiency am I facing and how I can correct it, and it will help you correct it. Okay. So on correcting the nutrient deficiencies, how do you correct them? Number one, you can do balanced fertilization. Okay. And this balanced fertilization will only, you will only know because you have done your soil test. Without a soil test, you're just feeding your soil with what you don't know. Okay. If you're feeding with more potassium, do you know whether your soil has enough potassium or you are just increasing the level of potassium to your soil? So that's why I recommend soil testing. It will help you know, okay, all these kind of what kind of balanced fertilization you need. Okay. So there's synthetic fertilizers, okay, you can apply. There's organic fertilizers you can apply. And just you need to know what do you want as a farmer. What do you want for your farm? Do you want synthetic or do you want organic? Personally, I always recommend organic way because it's always feeding the soil. Like example, I always ask my friends this question: if you go to a forest, if you are near by a forest, any forest, okay, will you find that people in the forest, do you put fertilizers in the forest so that the crops in the forest can thrive? If we don't do that, and the um, crops or the plants in the forest still thrives, okay, they still thrive in the midst of drought, in the midst of storms, in the midst of even flooding, and they just don't require all these synthetic, fertilizers that you put in your soil. Then why not exercise that the way the forest is doing and feed your soil? Okay. But one thing I know about forests is that they always have a cover. Okay. They have, in forests you always find the trees have covered their soil. You will not find a forest which is bare. It's very rare to find that. So because the leaves have covered the soil and they have decomposed, they make um, very good manure for the plant to continue sustaining themselves. So personally, I always go for organic way, but people can use synthetic way. It's always your choice because it's your farm. It's always your choice. You do whatever makes work for you. Challenge with synthetic fertilizers is fertilizers are not bad. I can't say they are bad, but what I can say about them is that you always require more of them every time. And also, they continue to make your soil more acidic. Yes, you will get production, but at a limited time. Okay. Example, you can get a production for a full 10 years, very high production, but now for the next 3 to 4 decades, that is 40 years, you are not getting anything because you have even disturbed your soil so much. But when you apply the organic way to feed your soil and your plants, you mean that you can get production throughout. And the more production, the more your soil become more enough with nutrients, the more your soil becomes strong to prevent itself from diseases, pests, and even to produce quality and quantity fruits. Okay. So, but the soil is always yours. Okay. So there's lime. Also, if your soil is acidic, you can introduce lime. Okay. Lime is also good. It helps in fixing also calcium and also lowering the pH of the soil. There's Epsom salt. There's a lot of things which are. Another one is, I think, glyphosate, something I don't know. I'm not sure. But there's another, is it gypsum or what? There's one a nutrient which starts with G, which is also very good in making your soil pH to come low and to be good for your plants. Okay. So we also have, we can also do crop rotation. So if you're growing fruit trees, what you can do for crop rotation when you're doing fruit trees is that you need to plant crops like vegetables. Vegetable, you can do vegetables in the farm. You can do legumes in the farm. You can also do cover crops in the farm. They will help you to fix in your soil and also help improve the soil either soil quality and also the soil pH. So these are way, there are a lot of crop rotation we can do, a companion planting we can do if you are growing fruit trees. Example of this, I can say, example, they are legumes. Legumes are the varieties of beans. You can do all types of beans. Okay, that will help you fix and improve the soil. Number two, you can do vegetables. Vegetables like sukuma wiki, managu, all those kind of vegetables, even lettuce, any vegetable you can think about. But that because you're focusing on the market, you need to do something that is going to give you money. So you grow your own fruit trees. Okay. Another thing you can do, crop ground covers. Okay. Like example is comfrey. You can plant comfrey because it's a ground cover which you can use for mulching, and it can also fix the NPK in the soil. You can use this feed for cows. What the name? I'm forgetting the feed for cow, which is very good in fodder. I don't remember, but when I remember, I'll share. I'll share. But there's that feed, which it's just a shrub. Oh yes, Lucerne. It is called Lucerne. So it's a feed which can be. It's very good, nutritious for your plants. Either when you mulch it, or when you intercrop it with your crops. Okay. Another plants you need is marigold. There's Mexican marigold. Those are just it's but not the one which has a lot of seed which can multiply to your plants to your farm very much. But marigold is very good for because it's also the flowers help in pollination, and also the smell of it can help repel pests and also diseases. Okay. And it also attracts more birds in no, not birds, I mean bees in your farm. So you need to include all these kind of crops. Okay. When you're doing crop rotation. So as we conclude on this topic, when you understand what your plant nutrition, if you understand like this crop I'm growing, what nutrition does it require from this stage to that stage, it will help you have more production. Okay, because it will make you know I need this type of crop. I'm planting, like example, when you're growing apples, you need to know these apples need this kind of nutrients and nutrient. Like, but all crop need all the micro and also the macro and also micro nutrients. But you need to know which at what a certain amount do they need to know to have these amounts. And when you give them that, you are really you are really guaranteeing that you're going to get improved yield, and also your plants will be healthy to overcome the challenges to do with pests and diseases, and you will reduce the cost of production for your crops. Okay. Another thing you need to do is regular soil testing. What they say is always that you do it after every 2 years. The researchers say that so that you can know whether you improved the nutrients that we are recommended to do. Because soil testing always tell you if you don't have enough organic matter in the soil, they tell you to increase the organic matter, okay, in the soil, that it will help you. Okay. So another thing you need to know is the proper fertilization and soil management. They will help you to have a very good production. Okay. So make sure you work on your soil very well, and you understand as you fertilize, what are you fertilizing for? As you feed your soil, what are you feeding? Let's not just be putting manure without knowing why are you putting the manure in the soil. Okay, we need to know why are you putting the manure in the soil and for what purposes, and what nutrient does the manure have, and what it's going to help me acquire and have in the soil. So as I finalize on this, what I can say is that there are a lot of we have these nutrients in the farms. In our farms, we have all these nutrients. Like example, today I was talking to a friend of mine who I'd visit their farm, and I was checking at their farm and seeing different nutrients in their plants, in different crop they are growing in the farm. Like example, bananas. Bananas are one of the best crops we have. People can grow in the farm in their farms. So bananas have a lot of nutrients which people can use. Okay. So number one, banana peels. Banana peels are very good. It's a very good a calcium. Number one, it's a very good source of calcium. So when you have bananas in your farm, you have calcium. Okay. Number two, you have also have potassium when you have bananas. So when you use bananas as mulch, you also increase your chances of having a lot of um sorry, so you will have a lot of very good potassium in the soil. So you see these things we have in the soil. Okay. So as they decompose, you get different nutrients. Another example, you have those who cook with firewood. You also have ash. Very good pH. It helps you to lower your pH if it's acidic. It helps your soil to become more base. So these are things that you can use in your farm and you have in the farm. There's another plant which is very good, comfrey, Russian comfrey. It's a very good plant that you can use, and it can help you in your gardening. Okay. You have another plants like tithonia. Very good. It's very good in mulching, and it also have this kind of the major nutrients in the soil. So majority, when you continue, if you do more research on yourself in your farm, whatever you have in the farm, you will find you have all these nutrients, and you can use. It's not always a guarantee that when you go to the shop and buy something, you're going to. It's not always a guarantee that you're going to get everything in the shop. So best thing you need to do is that you need to learn how to use whatever you have in the farm. And when you use whatever you have in the farm, you're going to get as much production as possible instead of keeping on buying maybe more fertilizers or more foliars you need to spray in the farm. You can use whatever is available and still feed your soil to the maximum uh, capacity, which each and meet all the nutrients needed in the soil. So thank you a lot. Now we can get to a question and answer for just 10 minutes, and now we wrap this up. So any questions? And thank you a lot. Yes, Kokelo, yes, please. We start with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the wonderful presentation. My
You're welcome.
question is on the use of manure. Are you
Mhm.
able to speak briefly about the different types of manure? So cow, goat, rabbit, chicken, when to apply and what to expect, and to which crops, after how long should you be expecting to see a change in the soil? Or which type
Okay.
of soil would you apply which manure to?
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you for that.
Are we on? Hello? Mm.
We cannot hear. I don't know if anyone can hear.
Oh, sorry. I had muted without knowing. Sorry. So, sorry, guys. So I was saying, um, you need different manures. Okay, you need the goat manure, the cow manure, the any type of animal manure that you can get, the chicken manure, all of them. But you need to complement them with something like a compost manure. But we are going to do in the coming weeks. We're going to do about how you can do your own compost, and also I'll show you practically how you can do it, so that you can learn how you can complement the manure you have to have all these kind of nutrients. And we are going to discuss which plants have these nutrients and which plants have these nutrients, the one which you can find locally in your area, so that you can complement the manure you have. Because one thing I've come to realize is that the manure is not always enough for your plants. Okay, like for chicken manure, you will have a lot of ammonia in it, okay, and carbon. So you find that you'll not have other nutrients in it. So you need it to be combined so that it can give you um, all the nutrients needed in the plant. So you need to, combine it with other ingredients in the you have in the farm that can give you different nutrients, so that as you give each plant, you can have complete nutrients for you can have complete nutrients for the plants and the soil. Manure mostly takes, what I know is chicken manure takes immediately so that it can be used. But now goat manure and cow manure, they almost take 3 months. So when you put it today, just know it will start be used by the soil in the next 3 months. So that's why it's always recommended after every 3 months, more so because it's the harvest season. After every 3 months, you find you are harvesting something, you always need to put more nutrients to the soil. That's why you are encouraged to do more manure in the soil. I hope I have answered you, Okela.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Dina, I see you have raised your hand.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, about those manures,
Mm-hmm.
I have I've tried citrus planting at my place,
Okay.
and they always turn out yellow, no matter how much manure I put.
Okay.
I don't know why the leaves turn yellow. Could it be
For
that,
citrus.
yeah, the citrus plants,
Okay.
they don't do so well at my place. They always turn out to be yellow.
Uh-huh.
When I compare it to other people who have planted citruses, especially oranges, you
Okay.
find that my leaves, the leaves on my citruses are very different from what I
Okay.
see elsewhere. So I don't know
Okay.
what is the problem with my soil, or is it my manure that is a problem?
Mm.
Because I have lots of manure. I have a lot of chicken manure, cow manure,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
sheep manure,
Okay.
and I keep applying that every three
Okay.
months. Could
Okay.
it be
What?
that I'm overfeeding them or what? Because I have no
Yeah.
problem with the apples, but I
Okay.
have a problem with the citruses.
Okay. Maybe it can be a issue to do with overfeeding. It can be an issue. Have you done your soil test?
No, no, I've never done soil test, by the way.
You've never done. Can you do it?
Yes.
We see how we can help.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because we
I,
we want to see what you can find. There is high when you find the some soil are very high, like some
mhm.
nutrients are very high in the soil. They also cause some issues to the soil. And every plants need different nutrients. So you need
Mhm.
we need to know by this the soil will tell us. The soil test will tell us
Okay,
what can be the issue. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else with a question? And I muted you. I don't know if you had a question or you were doing something.
No, I was actually asking when you disappeared.
Oh, I disappeared. Okay, I'm back. Okay, thank you. Anyone else with a question? Or we had the finish this one. But next week we are going to talk about more. We can do the so. But then next week we can do about composting, so that I can show you and share some videos on how you can do composting effectively, so that you know how to make your own soil. Yeah. Kalondo, are
Hi,
you talking?
Daddy. How are you? Irene here. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
Irene. Yes, we can.
Yeah, sorry, I kept on being logged out because I kept on getting out of the internet range. But actually, what you have just said is what I was going to ask you about the composting.
Okay.
I'm an organic farmer in Mboni, Makueni, and I've seen the advantages of using the proper, well composted material
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how we're actually doing it, because the carbon matter, like you are insisting, for the soil is very, very critical.
Yeah.
And right now, one of the things that is happening, sorry, I'm also driving, maybe there could be a bit of background noise. Um, one of the things that is happening is that you can also do your soil tests through GIS remote sensing. So that technology is coming now. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy that you've actually talked about the how you're going to work around the composting, because a lot of farmers are missing out on composting. The previous speaker has talked about putting, she has a lot of chicken manure, sheep manure, and that's where we are missing it out as farmers. We actually don't put manure. You're not allowed to put manure in your farms because of now the other unwanted um, properties that come with the application of manure, whether it is wet or dry in the soil. So I think I like what you've just said now about coming to give us capacity on the actual way of composting. Thank you.
Okay.
Well
Okay.
done on the presentation.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you for that. Anyone else? So what we're going to do is next Saturday we're going to discuss about composting and how you can use manure effectively to get the maximum for whatever you have. Yes, Isaac, I see you. Okay, Kokelo, yes, please. I see you raised your hand.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first
Yes.
one is you talked about companion plants. So
Okay.
let's say legumes
Mm-hmm.
planted together with maize and so on and so forth.
Mm.
So do they not cause competition with the other plants? So if one farmer planted maize and it's just a pure stand of maize, and another farmer planted maize with beans,
Yeah, okay.
and they did the same rate of whether it's compost or organic
Mm.
manure or fertilizer
Mm.
equal, will the harvest of maize on farmer A who has
Yeah.
no beans
Okay.
be lower than
Yeah.
farmer B who has maize and beans? I
Okay.
tend to think the beans also probably compete with the maize and might lower the yield, but I'll I'll be I'll be curious to hear from you. And then the other one is on I've heard a lot about Azola.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about using it for in the place of compost or together with the manures that we have? Can it be used if say you don't have a compost? Can you use the Azola as a form of compost?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Kokelo. So what I can answer about companion plants, what I does say is I highlighted something to call crop rotation, not intercropping them together. Because when you intercrop, challenge is when you intercrop beans and maize, one will overtake each other, the other one, when the other one is not yet ready, mature, even it gets enough. Okay, what can I say? What I'm saying is that when you're growing, example, when you're growing maize and vegetable in the same garden, whatever you do is the legumes and maize, you need to do a very good spacing, which it's not going to affect the other crop. Example is that every crop need an 8 hours sunlight. Okay, so if you're planting, like if you can plant one row of maize and then another row of legumes like the beans, now that works. But when you intercrop them together, the maize will overtake the beans because maize grow very tall. Okay, so you need a companion plant that is not going to. They are not. You need a companion plant that are not going to compete. One for nutrients and next for sunlight. So you need. That's why I was saying cover crops. If you are growing fruit trees, so you need to grow cover crop that is not going to compete with what the other crops. That is what is going to help you as a farmer have a maximum production, because you you're trying to complement each other, each plant with the other one. You're not trying to make them compete. Okay, so that is number one. And number two, you're asking about azola. Honestly, I've not tried azola as composting, in form of composting. What I use my azola for, I use them for chicken, feeding the chicken. So I know it well for um, like a chicken feed, to complement the feeds which I buy in the agrobets. So personally, I've used it only for complementing the feeds for my chickens and chicks. I've not tried to use it as as a compost manure. So maybe I try it and I get back, or someone who has used it here before can maybe educate us in one of these classes about it. But I think it's a good venture which we can try, and we will try what works for us, and then we implement it and work on it tukiendelea. Yep. Yes, Irene, please speak.
Yeah, I can give my experience with using azole as part of a composting material. Yeah,
Okay.
but what you need to do is you actually have to dry it, and then now you compost it together with the rest of the materials. Or because it's already a weed, which is when you dry it, actually you can actually put it straight in the farm, and then now you have to mix it together with the soil. So I know it has worked in one of the farms that have been having a bit of a challenge with in terms of the nutrient, soil health. But my question to you really was the use of bioslurry. I don't know. I have bioslurry also. How do you work with bioslurry also in the farm? I know I've used it, but I'd like to hear your thinking.
Before you answer the question on bioslurry, so the Azola, where you saw it working, Kalondu, what sort of situation did it fix? Was it a nitrogen deficiency? Did it fix an NPK overall problem? What was the situation before, and what was the result of using the Azola, if you know?
Yeah, thank you very much. My experience was this last season. So
Mhm.
now we want to check the next lot of cropping that we are going to be having, because we used it in the last season. And the last season, the rains were not very good. So probably it's still in the soil. So now when we are now doing the fruit farming, now is when we want to see how it is actually going to work. But it's azola is a protein, it's an energy for animals. So it actually breaks down into the energy properties for nitrogen into the soil. So
Mhm.
that's what now we want to check, because like I'm just trying to strengthen the carbon matter in the farm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be, I'll be following up in one of the forums in the coming days to see how that worked out.
So Dennis, you can tell us about the use of bioslurry.
Okay. Uh, but I think that I'm not the best person to answer that question. I think I'll invite someone to answer that question for biosilary, because they have been using it for some time. Uh, they just give me a sample and then I tried it and it was good for me. But the best thing is I invite someone to speak about it, not me. I don't want to answer that question kindly. Are you okay with that, Irene?
No, I wanted to compare notes with the person who has tried. Yeah, because I'm already using bioslurry. So either we directly put it in the farm, or we actually use it as part of the composting materials. So I just wanted to hear what other persons
Okay.
experiences, because it's
Yes.
very good as a carbon matter. But you see, it's
Yeah.
already broken down in the biodigester, so it's
Exactly.
straightforward, as
Yeah.
opposed
True.
to
True.
using. And the difference was, I really wanted you to bring out the difference between using direct manure versus bioslurry. Yeah, because
Okay.
the difference is from here, like it's like the sun and the moon.
Okay.
So bioslurry, are you talking about the product of like human or the one from biogas from cows? I just want to be clear.
It's the one from the cows, I think so. Not from
Okay.
humans.
Well, yeah, you can also, well, you can, the system can also be used from the human toilet. The only thing is that you have
Yeah.
to be very sure that you're not going to kill the microbes, or you're not going to start bringing other things, because the moment it goes through the biodigester, all that stuff is broken down. I know there are schools now that are actually putting that from the, as using it as part of the cooking system, and the bioslurry is being put in the school farms. Yeah, so it still works the same way. It's just that you don't put direct. The idea here is probably, and that's why Dennis needs to teach us about composting, so that you don't use direct raw waste material in the farm, because from a traceability point of view, it's been picked up by the crops as E. coli or something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for
I
that.
think I would have a problem with even bioslurry from, even if it's broken down from the human system, because of the metals, the heavy metals, uh, the leads and the rest. But yeah, I mean, if people are using them, well,
Yeah,
Hello.
people are using them. Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes, Dina.
I have a bit of some experience with the bioslurry. I
Yes,
have a
please.
biogas plant,
Oh, nice.
and whatever comes out of the plant, I directly add it into the soil, and especially on my vegetables,
Okay.
the kienyeji, the traditional vegetables like managu and sageti. It does very well with those ones. So I've never tried it on fruits or any other thing,
Mm.
but so far, so good. When it comes to vegetables, it does very well. I don't know whether it is because I'm overfeeding them, but so far they do very well when I apply the bioslurry.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Also, I've seen it work for other people and other farmers. Also, okay, farmers doing vegetables, I've seen it work for them. Big time. That is the honest truth. That's why I wanted a farmer who is doing them to just we just one of these weekend we discussed. I see the availability of her. We see because she she farms organic. She does organic farming purely, and she uses that is part of it. Biocerery. She used it in the farm, and also I learned it from her. So mimi nasoma pia. I don't know everything. I keep on learning every day. So I think that is a topic which we can discuss in future. But when the biocerery, what thing I've seen work effectively is it even with your own manure, but we will talk about it more when we're talking about composting, is that when you use that manure you have from all this animal you are having, and then include it in the compost and keep turning it with the other materials that you are using in the compost, you will have a very good product that you can put in your farm, and it's going to make your crop thrive in a very different way. People will be saying you are using fertilizer, but you are using organic matter, because they will not agree of what kind of product you are having. Yeah. So please allow me to end this class here for today, and thank you a lot for creating time to listen, and even thank you also guys for sharing your wisdom. I'm really really grateful and honored. So next Saturday we're going to discuss about composting, and thank you a lot. God our bless Anna. Bye bye. Good night.
Thanks very much.
Eh, Kakela
thank
unainua mkono tukimaliza.
sasa unamaliza na hatujamaliza maswali.
Tutaendelea next weekend ama?
Okay, sawa. Haya.
Okay. Okay, thank you.